Alright, so lucky for the interruption. Okay? But as you can see, it's all staged. Okay? It's all staged, and and a lot of people aren't falling for it, in fact, okay, a lot of people are, questioning it, alright, which, that's unusual compared to the past, alright? Well, you get what I'm saying, man, okay? Alright, because recently you've got a lot of people questioning Esau instead of just blindly accepting it in the past, man, okay? Alright, but regardless, the point is they're still trying to push, well, Jake being the face of domestic tea, okay? Alright, they're still trying to push it, man. Alright, but here I got this video by Dabu77 titled "There Will Be Some Shots Fired Tonight. 666 reporter was warned before shooting." Okay. Alright, so let's play it. Alright, fair use, fair use. Okay. I'll speed it up, and that will be, I'll speed it up, and then let's go.
It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight. I was sitting next to Caroline Levitt, the press secretary's husband. He was one of our guests. He was sitting right next to me, and right as the dinner was starting, the national anthem happened, and then he kind of leaned over and said, I watched you on TV. You did a great job. You need to be very safe. And he was just very serious when he said that to me. And he kind of looked around the room and he said, there are some.
Sounds like we lost Aisha's phone there.
I don't think so. You see that? You see a woman was being told something is about to happen inside of the facility, and the news cuts her off. Sitting right next to Caroline Levitt's husband. The same Caroline Levitt that just said there's going to be shots fired in there tonight. This is what your DC propagandist administration has put on for the people out there. We're going to dive into this bit by bit. This incident began right here with this. As you can see, an individual comes running in from the left-hand side, right here, and then the agent jumps and pulls a gun. At the exact same time, Trump, half awake, this guy pops up between Melania and Trump, and he flashes this call sign like a note, as you can see right here. And when he does, look at her face. Everyone's shocked and startled. It's like a cue card, literally. And then they start to run around and get Vance out of there, and then jump on Trump, and man, it looked like a bunch of theatrics, big time. The shooter said to be this individual called Cole Allen, a teacher of the month out of California.
Alright, okay, it looks like Jake. Okay, and he got all these agents, man. He got these agents that, well, of course, they work for him, man. Okay, to fulfill certain purposes, whatever he wants, man. Okay. Alright, so a lot of these people that do this stuff, man, okay, they're agents, man. Okay, this is all orchestrated, man. Okay. Hey, the people are finding out, and Esau's getting real sloppy with it, man. Okay.
And just take a look at the evil face Erica Kirk is giving right before the shooting, and then she's pulled out of there crying. What are the odds that this Cole Allen is mentioned by a random account, Henry Martinez, over on X, and he made one post on December 21st, 2023, and all it says is Cole Allen. Now take all that and add it to the fact that Carrie Lake and others that were attending posted how there was no security. It was shockingly lax. There was no back check, no...
So how was there no security? Alright, that just shows you that, hey, Esau's getting sloppy with this, man. Okay? He's barely even trying anymore.
Real screening. All someone had to do was just flash their ticket, and then they could just slide right on in. You take every single thing that we just put together and gathered just from off the top of this, and this stinks to high heaven. It's got all the signs, and look at Mrs. Levitt there throwing and flashing her 666 sign right before she said, tonight, shots are going to be fired. I don't believe in coincidence. Okay? I don't believe in none of that. I believe in the orchestration of occult situations, and I believe that's what we've witnessed in this event. How deep it goes with this player in the middle in all this, yet to be seen. We do know that he was an intern for NASA back in 2014, and that he was a teacher out of California. I'm going to cover this in more detail on the live show. Make sure to join me going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Okay. So you got this whole thing this whole fiasco that happened, man. Alright. Okay. But let's get the first precept, 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, man. Okay, in the NLT. So that Satan will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with his evil schemes, man. Okay. Alright, and his devices that goes into his plans, his thoughts, man. Okay, and yeah, we're familiar with his evil schemes, man. Okay, with how he rolls, man. And this one's real sloppy. Okay. Alright. But of course you still got them trying to push Jake, as being, the enemy, man. Okay. And Jake being the domestic team. Alright. Which of course, they're gonna hop that around to the prophets, man, because that's ultimately their goal. That's ultimately their goal, to persecute the elect, man. Okay, they want the 2/3 too, but they don't really care that much, Okay, a subdued enemy is of less concern than one that is, than one that's active, man. A sedated enemy is of less concern than an active enemy. Okay. Alright, because Esau's our enemy, alright, and vice versa. Alright, we're also Esau's enemy as well. Okay. Job 15 and 35. They conceive mischief and bring forth vanity, and their belly prepareth deceit. Okay. They conceive mischief, man. Alright, they bring forth, trouble, man. They plan it, okay? And bring forth vanity, and their belly prepareth deceit. Alright, they got them making these stories, this and that, alright, to push a certain agenda, man. Okay. Alright, but this time it seems like a lot of people are not falling for it, man. Alright, it seems like each time stuff like this happens, you got less and less people falling for it, man. And that shows you that Esau's really that the Lord is destroying Esau's power. Alright, the Lord is destroying Esau's hold. Alright, he's making that witchcraft, those spells, those enchantments less effective, man. Okay. Alright. In the past, a lot of times stuff like this, wouldn't have been that question that much, okay? It might have been by, like, smaller circles, but usually it was just always labeled as a conspiracy theory, okay? Alright, but now, you got people just kind of accepting these so-called conspiracy theories, which are mostly true most of the time, okay? Alright, they got a lot of these people, they just accept it now, alright? Because most of the time it is true. Isaiah 19:14, the Lord Yahweh hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt, which America, aka USA, aka Babylon the Great, is spiritual Sodom in Egypt, so this is just America, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit, man. Okay. In the NLT, the Lord Yahweh has sent a spirit of foolishness on them. Okay. Alright, because this is sloppy, man. This ain't Alright, this is real sloppy, man. Okay? A real sloppy distraction. The Lord Yahweh has sent a spirit of foolishness on them, so all their suggestions are wrong. They cause Egypt to stagger like a drunk in his vomit. Okay? Alright, no longer do you see, Esau pulling these Salakia once again for the interruption, but no longer do you see, Esau pulling, all these extremely secretive things, man. Okay? Now a lot of the things he's doing, they're all sloppy, okay? They're all real sloppy, man. Alright. That's proof that the Lord has sent a spirit of foolishness on them, man. Okay. Alright. Let's get Jeremiah 49:7. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Okay. And the NLT, this message was given concerning Edom. This is what the Lord Yahweh of heaven's army says. Is no more wisdom in Teman? Is no one left to give wise counsel, man? Alright, hey, is their wisdom perished? Okay. We see the Lord, destroying their wisdom, man. Alright, he's bringing it down, man. Okay. We see that we see it, man. Okay. Alright. And we see that the Lord is, he's exposing Esau. He's exposing all his secrets, all his sins. Okay. And there's no escape from it. Okay. Psalm 64:8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. Alright, hey, just saying that there's going to be shooting tonight. Alright, this and that, man. Okay. But it's all just another attempt to push that agenda of making Jake the face of domestic tea. Okay. Because really they want the prophets, man. Alright. Which are obviously Israelites. Okay, so that they can do this. Actually, but let's start at verse 10. Revelation 12:10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our power, and the power of his Hamashiach. For For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accursed them before the Most High, before our power, day and night. Okay? Esau is the accuser of our brethren, man. Okay? And you bet he's gonna accuse and accuse and accuse, man. He's gonna use this as an excuse to pull whatever draconian laws he does. Okay? Like martial law, so on and so forth. Okay, Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Okay, hey, Esau's getting ready. He's getting ready to send down that military, man. All right, you 2/3, you're gonna get bulldozed, man. Okay, but he's trying to push forth an agenda to make you Jake's the face of domestic tea to justify himself even more. Okay. Alright, but let's get Psalms 17, 13, 14, because I don't got much time, so I gotta end this quick. Arise, O Lord Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. Okay? We need deliverance from the wicked, which is the Lord's sword, man. Okay? For men which are thy hand, O Lord Yahweh, for men of the world, which have the portion in this life, in whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure. They are full of children, and leave the rest of their substance to their babes, man. Okay? We're gonna need deliverance from Esau, Edom, when he comes down with that great wrath, man. Okay, the Bible mentions them, persecuting those who fear the Most High. That's really roughly paraphrasing. I messed it up a lot, but it's in 2 Esdras 16 and I believe around 68. Okay, Esau's getting ready to come down to that great wrath, man. Okay, but we can see it that Esau's trying to push this Jake being the domestic tea again. Okay. Alright, so, always pay attention, man. Alright. Okay, but with that, Lord willing, that was edifying. I want to give all praise and honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Makakurash, Shalom, Shalom.